7:45 here on this Friday morning wake-up call. It's now time for Friday at the Fuzz. Here is Michael Green.
Thank you, Derek. In studio today with Elgin's Chief of Police, Jeff Svoboda. Welcome to the studio, Jeff. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Us, yeah. We'll get to the us part in a moment. I'll let you do the introductions. First, we just had a couple of things we wanted to touch on. I kind of found it interesting just because it's not something that you see often where, I mean, at least in the media or the press releases don't talk often about the destruction of evidence through eating it.
Yes.
And there were, I think, 2 different occasions in this past week where there was a traffic stop on, I don't even have it. I don't have the road on that one, but that was where he was, yeah. So, anyway, officer smelled marijuana in the vehicle, noticed him chewing something, and was able to obtain a search warrant. Not only was he trying to destroy evidence, but also had a lot more marijuana in the vehicle as well in the trunk. Is this something that is seen often, or that we just don't hear about? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. Yeah, this was a great arrest here, and then we're going to talk about a search warrant in a minute. But people routinely will hold drugs in their mouth, and then if the police get close or whatever, many times they'll try to then swallow it, try to destroy it that way. So it obviously extremely dangerous. I mean, you can, depending on how much drugs you have in there and the purity of it and everything, I mean, you could actually die from it. So it's not a very smart thing to do. But unfortunately, routinely, people, drug dealers specifically, or people holding drugs, will keep it in their mouth, and then as the police come up, they'll try and chew it and swallow it. So yeah, the officer picked up on it, then was able to pick up on, they were able to smell it, and eventually, and I don't know all the specifics with this, but then wasn't making an arrest on that, it sounds like, because we got a search warrant for the car, and then we were eventually able to find a lot more of the marijuana in the trunk.
And that was something I kind of asked you about too. Under normal conditions, if there was no odor or they didn't see the person chewing, they may have just arrested him, and that would have been it, possibly, right? I mean, is there a chance that the vehicle would not have been impounded or towed?
Probably not.
Okay.
He was driving the vehicle, so if somebody's by a car where they have the
marijuana,
marijuana,
else was with him and they
kind of
weren't charged with anything, they might have been like
potentially kind of up to the officer how much drugs did they have with them, what were the circumstances, but generally speaking, a person having the drugs with them and there's an arrest with them behind the wheel of a car, the car is going to be towed. As part of the tow, it's going to be inventoried. And then as part of the inventory, that's where we check the trunk and all the places of it. Because we'll routinely get people after a car is towed come back and say, I had $10,000 in my duffel bag and my gym bag in the back trunk, and the cop stole it. So
I was taking it to the bank to deposit.
Right. And so we'll go through an entire car before we tow it and inventory what is in there, so that and then they sign for it. They get a copy of what was inventoried, and and so that's what we generally would find it that way.
So chances are it would have been found anyway, but
chances
a good chance, but with everything that went on, it was a foregone conclusion it was going to get found.
Right, and then with him chewing it, and so that's kind of a weird way to get to many times the same result in the end, but maybe with one less charge of the destruction part, but
maybe one less charge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Wednesday. Then you conducted a search warrant. Sounds like in this case this was a heroin arrest for Angelo Hobson. I believe that there were 3 different occasions over a 4-month period where he had sold heroin to an undercover officer. So it looks like something you were kind of cultivating. Well, maybe bad choice of word, but cultivating the arrest. Maybe going for more. Yeah. I don't know if you know the specifics on it. I mean, that's kind of how it reads to me, right? With not making an immediate arrest, and did a search warrant of his house, found a small amount of heroin, but then again, now he's in the police city jail, and he's seen chewing something and spitting, according to a statement put out by Commander Fleury, and he's got 10 heroin baggies in his mouth. So my question was, how does he get heroin into the jail, the jail cell? Would that have been found beforehand?
Well, it would, again, you don't know the specifics of it as well, but we'll be looking at that as well, because there is a search before anybody is put back into the jail cell. So
I'm kind of playing devil's advocate.
Right, absolutely. Yeah. But no, it's a great question. How do you get the drugs in there? But bad choice of word as well, because you can hide them on your body.
Right.
And as you're doing that, you know, we don't do a full body cavity search of people before they go into
Until,
there.
right.
And so I'm not sure where he had it, if he had things in his mouth and was able to talk without it looking like it, but we ask people to open their mouths before they go in. So I don't know. And so that was part as well. But I mean, there are there's a sink in our, you know, in our each one of the cells. There's a toilet in the cells as well.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
Thankfully.
So there's more to. We are looking at that to find out what he got. But he did swallow it. It got sick. Had to go to the hospital. I was actually in the hospital for a little
Several
while.
days, before the actual. You can't charge him until he's released.
Well, just he has to
Is it
go
just a
for a judge
formality?
and everything,
Okay.
and so he's up at the hospital. And then once he was released, then we could bring him back and then take him before a judge. So it just delays it. But yeah, we there are some occasions. You know, we've had people who've had to go to the hospital. Say you're in a bad car crash and you break both of your legs, and you were at fault, and you needed tickets, or person was drunk when he had the accident. If they're going to be in there for weeks and months, we can get some of the charges done and get them, you know, charged up at the hospital, and then as they get out, then they have to be processed still, because we still need pictures and we still need prints, but we can start some of the paperwork. If it's going to be a day or two, a lot of times the paperwork just waits until we're able to get him back to the station and booked and processed.
So a lot of talk recently, I forget what city I saw that they were talking about in the news, where there's an HIV epidemic now because of heroin. And we know from you, right, because you've taught us that there's more than just that way of taking in heroin now, where that used to be the only thing was shooting up with needles. Now you can, there's a lot of different ways.
Everything, yeah. Right.
Which I didn't know. I thought needles was the only way you could do it, was to inject yourself. But it's everywhere. I mean, it's just, are we seeing a lot of it in Elgin?
Yeah, you know, we do come across it. This, again, was another search warrant for it. So we get a lot of the information, we'd like to think rather quickly as we start hearing more about it, but it unfortunately is everywhere. So yes, we do have heroin in Elgin. Kane County, the coroner, just put on a talk with the sheriff, and they were talking about it. I know I've been to multiple ones. We've had certain ones. I think we had one at the library not too long ago as well. So it's something we've been talking about a lot with, you know, specifically with parents, and there's an overlay there as well with some prescription drugs. Sometimes people get hooked on prescription drugs and then can't get off their prescription drugs and look to heroin to kind of have a similar effect, because heroin's unfortunately can be easier to get than if you don't need a prescription, obviously. So then people, and then depending on the purity and what's going on with the heroin, many times it can be the first use, and unfortunately we see a lot with many kids have been overdosing with heroin, and so it's everywhere. I mean, it's in every city. It's unfortunately a drug that has grown in popularity over the past years, unfortunately.
You've had a real big presence on Facebook, I'd say, in the last year that has grown and grown. We've talked about Twitter and the fact that you guys were going to do more with that. I've seen posts on and off for the last little bit, and saw one the other day, and I'm going to admit it, I was at a stoplight, and I know this is still against the law. I'll throw myself under the bus.
It wasn't Elgin, though, right?
It wasn't in Elgin.
Good.
No, I would never. Yeah, and I saw a traffic alert pop up, which is why I opened it up through Twitter from the Elgin Police, that there was a car accident in the 1000 block of North Randall Road, which is almost exactly where I was. So I don't know if Twitter has something to do with my GPS. I don't know. It was weird. Like it knew I was almost there, and kept looking for it. It turns out because there was a map attached, which I was able to access later, and it was in, I forget which church there's like a campus, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is the Harvest Bible Chapel right there?
There is up on Randall Road, yeah.
Yeah, and it looked like the accident was actually inside the public or private property there. Mm-hmm. So I never did see the accident, but it was neat that it actually notified me that there was an accident that I was coming up to. That I got this notification through Twitter. You brought in a special guest that can kind of talk to that a little bit more?
Absolutely. With us is Christy Hilton, and she's normally here, but behind the camera with stuff. But she is obviously the person who runs our Facebook page, and has also worked really hard to get a new, what would you call it?
An interface.
Interface. Thank you.
Yes.
An interface with Twitter. So I'll let Christy talk about. We were able to get a grant, and she was able to process it through with our New World system, and we believe we're the first one to be doing this. Because it's a real time with some of the incidents. So
we'll
I'll
talk more
introduce.
about first in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
We will. We will. And so I'll introduce Christy to talk about it.
Hi.
Hi, Christy.
So tell us about Twitter.
We have an interface now that feeds from our 911 system directly to Twitter all of our traffic-related incidents. And you said that you were in the 1000 block of Randall Road and you didn't see it. It's possible too that by the time you're getting these notifications, they've relocated off the main roads to not impede traffic anymore. But
I wasn't entirely upset that I didn't see the accident. I was expecting a delay. I'm like, oh, but it wasn't there, so I was happy.
And you're getting the information that our call takers are getting. So when somebody's calling in that they're at Meyer, they're at in the 800 block of South Randall Road. I think I've got that right. They may be, it's going to come out to you on Twitter as it's on Randall Road because that's where Meyer is. So
right.
It's just letting you know that there's something going on in that vicinity. We're also putting out things like water main breaks, the light malfunctions, gate malfunctions, general hazard information that's getting called into us is being tweeted out.
So you said there was a grant, so it's not, because I would just think you open up a Twitter account and
there was a grant
type in the information and that's it.
Yeah, but this there is no person that needs to do this. This is automatically happening right from our computer system. So it's really two software systems talking to each other.
Interesting.
Yeah, what would happen before is we have a water main break. Traffic would be backed up. We would get notified, and if Christy happens to be listening, it's during work hours, then she might put it on Facebook. Otherwise, somebody would notify her. There's a delay. And what this does now is anything that may cause a delay with some of the traffic, we put it out immediately. She doesn't need to touch it. And then we're actually able to help get people home quicker and stay away from some of the hazards and not be backed up in traffic. So that's kind of the point. It automatically happens. So it's nice.
We'll still put the larger incidents out on Facebook, but this will give everybody the real-time information, or close to it.
It's amazing what you can do with technology. It's also kind of scary because, are you driving and watching Twitter? It's kind of a...
I think it might have been a coincidence.
Yeah.
It might have been a coincidence.
But with
the time. Oh,
with the timing of...
It's tough, though. I mean, because there's kind of like that... It's a dangerous line. Right? I mean,
you give out so much information.
You give out so much information that now you're becoming like obsessed with getting the information, and you're looking for more and more ways to do it. And yet at the same point, you're trying to keep everybody safe, but now the people you're trying to keep safe, like me in that case, I was at a stoplight, but that's still against the law. You can't do that. So
well, people just now, naturally just go to their phone. I wonder what we used to do in elevators before we had smartphones. I mean, what did you look at, right?
Yeah.
Because now as soon as you get in an elevator, everybody's got their phone out, everybody's looking down, and there's so much information going out. But you're right. It's a very distracted world out there. So
I was distracted on was it Wednesday?
April 1st. I can tell you, it was
April
definitely
1st. Yes, I know this. And I did not fall for anybody's pranks, save one. And I talked about it here on the radio the next day. There was a really great video put out by the Elgin Police Department. I'm sure Christy had everything to do with this. And the Elgin Police were welcoming their their newest canine unit.
Yes.
And his name was Fonzie.
It still is.
It still is. And he's a French bulldog.
Still is.
The very first of its kind as a police dog.
Yes.
And it was a really well done video. Not one smile was cracked by Chief Svoboda here. And I totally bought it.
You bought it?
I totally bought it. I fell for it. Your reasoning was great. Oftentimes with a lot of the searches that we're going to do, it's in very small places, and you need a smaller dog to conduct this. And then I kind of rolled my eyes when you talked about we're always looking to save the city some money. So a smaller dog is going to eat less, so we're going to save some money that way.
Less dog food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Made sense to me.
So who's Fonzie?
Fonzie is Laura and my French bulldog. We have two French bulldogs.
Okay, whose is it really?
It's Laura's.
Okay. It puts up with you.
Yes,
it's Laura's
exactly.
Yeah.
It really is. And obviously, if we had something bigger going on or some real news happening, we would have done that. It was April Fool's, and like I said to the Herald that did the article, so there's just so much negativity on Facebook and all the things going on. I just thought we'd do something kind of fun that was harmless as far as I know. We did get a few comments of somebody not amused, or a couple people didn't find it funny at all. It's like, okay, that's fine. I can't win them all, I guess, but we just wanted to do something kind of just.
I personally loved it. I was like, first I was like, this is kind of cool. All right,
that's right.
And I almost sent you a message saying, please bring Fonzie, and I'd love to meet the new canine.
Maybe I still will. He's retired.
And I'm
He
glad
did
I
one
waited.
day.
Yeah, and so that was a great way to close it out by saying hired April 1st, 2015, retired April. And then I looked at that and I was like, oh, really?
Right.
And that's when I knew.
He thought it was okay to sleep on duty. You know, he fell asleep, and so I said, you know what,
The
you need to go.
reason- yeah.
You need to go to the fire department. You know, you can't stay here at the police department.
Come
We
on,
don't
be
do that.
nice. Be nice.
I had to throw that joke out.
Yeah, I
So
know.
I called John Fahey. So I'm gonna have to transfer him over. There's no. So
But
yeah,
it was
that
fun how you said that you couldn't come to an agreement on like nap schedule,
schedule,
and feeding whatever. Yeah.
Right. So he's no longer a police dog. So one day.
It was good.
It was fun, but like I said, just a little bit of a break from all the other stuff that goes on.
Got a couple of things going on that we want to just kind of tie up the show with. Again, Chief Swoboda here in studio with us on Friday with the Fuzz. But is it this week or is this Distracted Driving Month? Chris? Month.
Yep.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
No, that's okay. It's just Distracted Driving Awareness Month, so we'll be putting out some social media information about that. And
Are you going to be
sure there's gonna be
increased
some
patrols or
enforcement.
some?
Yeah, we're always doing a lot, but our traffic division really does a nice job with it, and I know they've been working on a lot of education they do, and it's part of their, prom, believe it or not, actually should be coming up, I was going to say believe it or not, like it's a long way away, but now that it's
Probably
already
next
April,
month or
probably,
something.
yeah.
Yeah.
Prom, and so we do some Operation Prom Nights, talking about, the dangers of drinking and driving on prom night, but now, distracted driving is a big part of it. And it seems like every month is something, right? But, I mean, these still are really important topics, just to get us, like we're doing now, just talking about them, because I know it's also, Child Abuse Prevention Month as well. And so just reminding people of all these, like we talk about, there's so much information out there, so many distractions. Sometimes just need a reminder about just some of the things that are going on that you need to be aware of.
It's been, it's second year now where it's been against the law to talk on your phone while holding it without a Bluetooth.
Probably a couple of years
January
now, yeah.
1, 2014,
Was
I
it?
think.
I don't
Maybe
know,
it was
it's been probably
13
about that. It might have
even.
been 13 even. We've been
Yeah.
talking about that for a while, yeah.
I still see it all the time. And a lady came into one of my accounts that I was visiting the other day, and she had just gotten it wasn't in Elgin. She had just gotten a $75 ticket, and I guess they said it could have been more than that. I thought it was just $75 for the first offense, wasn't it?
Well, there's the fines and the court costs, so I'm not sure why she knew. Did she already go to court, you said? Or she just got the ticket?
Then she just got the ticket.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Elgin?
No, it was. I don't know which department, but I was in Oswego.
Okay.
So-
A lot of, as we do, there's the state, you can go to the state charge, or you can go a local ordinance violation and things.
And
So
I think that's what she said. It was a local
ordinance is
violation.
75.
Yeah.
Okay. And so, I drove into Chicago, I had a meeting in Chicago on, I think Wednesday or Thursday, whatever it was. And, the amount of people with their, phones up to their ears.
Yeah, so it's not even just texting or
It's-
accessing Twitter from a stoplight.
That's right.
Yeah, it's still talking on the phone. What can you guys do to
keep
impact
writing a lot of
that?
tickets. I think the last time we ran the numbers, I think there were like 1,000 distracted driving tickets. We could literally just be doing that,
Right.
and that's all the police would be doing.
And then you get to hear that, don't you have something better to do?
And there'd be, hey, people are not stopping for the stop sign. There's other crimes going on. There's
Right.
burglary.
Right.
It's just you try to do it all with the resources you have. But this is one that, like you said, it's because people are kind of like, I'm just doing it real quick. It's just a stoplight, or
Right.
there's not much traffic going on today. I just got my phone up real quick to my ear. But it's everywhere.
Well, I think I saw a stat when that law passed with the Bluetooth law that distracted driving while talking on the phone was actually more dangerous than drinking and driving. I think there's a number of accidents. Yeah.
There's been a bunch of different things with all those types of studies. And, we got another
canine.
canine here. All right. What's up?
Lastly, you have the Pinwheel Garden, and this is coming up April 11th, so we probably still be able to talk about it next week.
Yeah, we can talk about it next week, but yeah.
Some information
Real
on
quick,
it now.
we're going to be hosting here at the police department. We're going to have a pinwheel garden at the front of the police station, kind of off to the side. And just a reminder of child abuse, and we have many partners that I'll kind of name off next week, but just kind of reminding people about child abuse, and it's Child Abuse Prevention Month, and just what are some of the things people can do, and what to look, if they see something, who to call, what are the resources out there if they know something's going on, but really just to remind people that unfortunately, it's a lot of things that are many times happen behind closed doors, and so people don't witness it as it's happening, but there are steps you can take if you see things or think something is going on, and just to remind people about it.
There's I can't even talk about that because I don't understand crimes against children. It's just beyond me. Yep. All right, Chief Swoboda, Chrissy, thank you both for joining us today in studio. have a safe weekend. Enjoy the weather. Cubs
Thank you.
opener on Sunday.
Cubs opener on
I
Sunday.
know
All right.
You'll be there, right?
I won't be there.
No,
No.
you won't be there. You'll be watching.
Maybe I'll be watching.
Maybe.
Right.
You're listening to AM 1410, WRMN.
And Elgin.